Here is a simple way to plan meals for the whole month. Yes, on this We Can Do It Wednesday. Back in a minute. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, this is Jan. Welcome to another episode on my channel, the Save Money and More with Jan channel. I'm going to talk to you today about making a simple meal plan for the month. But here is the trick. We're not talking about the whole month, even though we'll plan for the month. We're not talking about a whole month of ideas, okay? Basically, human beings really can have, let's say, 10 different meals a month, a few times a month, and it equals the month. So if you concentrate, let's say, on 7 meals, if you're thinking weeknights plus the weekend, excuse my needs cough, there you go. Then it makes it so much simpler than saying to yourself, oh, I have to sit down and write 31 different meal ideas. Not true. Think of an original plan for a meal. For example, let's say during the course of the week, you want to purchase and you want to roast a chicken. Okay, so that's one weeknight of the original meal. Another time it may be a roast beef or pork or some sort of a fish thing or some sort of a pasta thing. Work with 7 to 10 different main categories. Purchase all of those 7 to 10 main categories and find ways to multiply in future meals for that particular month to double or triple the amount that you're working with the original meal component. Example, a roast chicken isn't just what you roast that night and then you're done. So many gazillion things you could do. We've gone over this many, many times, but for a refresher course, you can make chicken salad, you can make chicken soup, you can make chicken croquettes, you can make chicken tacos. You see where I'm going with this? Okay. You can make chicken with rice because the chicken is not always going to be the star of the show, but perhaps a close runner up alongside with. See, that's the trick. Get 7 to 10 different main ideas. Or let's say you decide to make a roast pork, okay? You could have roast pork sliders. You could have sliced roast pork. You could have roast pork on a sandwich with a little bit of pepper and maybe a little drizzle of mayo on top of it. You could just do different things. Concentrate on getting the protein, the meats if you like meat. If you don't like meat, just do the same method except swapping it out with vegetables, for example, okay? Or some sort of a grain kind of thing. That's the trick. Concentrate on the main proteins. Triplicate the meal, okay, by making different things from the same original item. If you could triplicate it, you got yourself a much lower grocery bill than you anticipate. I'm just saying. Sometimes, and I really, really believe this, I think we make much to do about not much or much to do about nothing. I can't sit down and plan for an entire month of meals. That's draining me mentally. I just took an item like chicken and pork and I made 4 different meals out of it. But here's the other really, really important part, okay? And it is those things, the staples that help put a meal together. For example, different side dishes that are inexpensive. Macaroni and cheese is cheap, okay? You can make it from scratch. You could get the little box on the side. You could have whatever chicken thing you do with some macaroni and cheese and cut up a cucumber, and you are set. Dinner does not have to be complicated. It definitely does not have to be fancy, but it has to be something you enjoy and definitely offer nutritional value for the meal. We complicate things. I don't know why we choose to complicate things. Doesn't have to be as extravagant as people think, for example. All right, ground beef and ground turkey. We didn't even touch that. Look how versatile ground beef or ground turkey could be. Okay, so you start off with your original package. Let's say for this time around, we're talking about ground beef. Okay, you could get a couple of family packs of ground beef. You could pre make on your own handmade patties. Wrap them up individually and put them in the freezer and use them when you want. You don't have to spend extra money on pre made patties because that's what people are paying for, the convenience. And nothing is as good as a handmade patty, the real thing from yourself, from scratch. Make a whole bunch of that. And then we could take the same family pack of ground beef and we can make a couple of meatloaves from it. And then we could take the same family pack of ground beef and derive some chili from it. I'm just saying, or some sort of a sauce with a whole bunch of ground beef in there for extra flavor and extra nutrition. And if you're low on meatballs, if you want to make meatballs, you could make mini meatballs. Mini meatballs are a great trick to keep in your home or apartment in your freezer. You could throw them on top of your, let's say, baked ziti. You could put it in a soup and make a meatball soup or a stew from it. Look at all the ideas I just gave you. Life does not have to be that complicated. But you know what really is important? And it makes you feel good to know inside. For example, if you are a very quite organized person when it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning and saving money at the same time, best thing to do is like have this ready before the first of the month. We all know that at the very least, a month is as short as 28 or as long as 31 days. Plan on about 30 days worth of meals, okay? And maybe give yourself a night off from cooking or slap together a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and you're okay. But let's plan for the 30 nights of meals. All you have to do is make sure that you have the 7 to 10 different main protein components and then triplicate the meals from that. You see where I'm going with this? It's not that hard. But if you do it in the beginning of the month, you are guaranteeing yourself, you are guaranteeing your family, and suppose you have a husband and children, you've got a family going on there and you have yourself a guaranteed freezer full. I have always said this for years. And I even wrote a little article about this many years ago on another platform that food in the freezer is money in the bank. So if you're only working with that 7 to 10 main components and regenerating it 3 times into completely different meals, you have your entire month ready. That is the secret handed to you. Concentrate on getting the best prices for your 7 to 10 meal components. And guess what? On this We Can Do It Wednesday, you got it made in the shade. Excuse me. And don't forget to stock up on things that help expand the meal. If you enjoy rice, make sure you have enough rice on hand. Steve and I spoke recently about a cheap and easy way to make rice from scratch because a lot of us will not admit it publicly, but we could be rice phobic and we end up always getting the instant one. Not that there's anything wrong with the instant one. If you could get a deal on that, go for it. Hey, I'm all for convenience too. Don't get me wrong. But to know how to make it from scratch could be so much more cheaper. You can refer back to that video. It was on Steve Young's, I think he calls it a tidbit video, okay? And it wasn't on all that long ago. Keep staples like rice, keep staples like elbow pasta or any smallish pasta that you could work with. Things that you could add to a meal to expand it, to make you feel full, happy, and satisfied. Some people enjoy quinoa, for example. Everybody is different. Okay, but keep these things on it and don't forget potatoes. Potatoes are a great thing. And sometimes people don't maximize the use of frozen potatoes, like those steak fries, for example. I have made gorgeous sandwiches with potato, egg, and pepper and onion, and I turn them into a beautiful thing. I take the shortcut way and I use those steak fries instead of peeling and cutting up a fresh potato. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but everybody has their own way. So I got a good deal on the steak fries frozen ones. I put them in the freezer, and that bag is so darn big. And in my case, I could get meal after meal after meal after meal if I get creative. Get the main components first, sit down, write things down, get creative. Doesn't mean you glue to it. You have to have this on a Monday and that on a Tuesday. You do whatever you want, but be sure to have all the components. And if you're really ambitious, you could do what Sensible Living, what Money Mom does, and do some batch cooking for X number of days. Take a rainy afternoon or a day where you have a lot of creative juices flowing and do it like that. Have a great day, everybody. Hope this helps someone out there. Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe.